The Kratson Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a decade. Their armada was legendary 3,000 warships that had reduced entire civilizations to cosmic dust. When they detected the pale blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, they assumed it would be Conquest number 40-8. Commander Zolther studied the holographic display of Earth with predatory interest. The planet's inhabitants called themselves humans, and their technology was primitive by galactic standards. No energy shields, no quantum drives, no antimatter weapons. It would be over in hours. Prepare the invasion fleet, Zolther commanded. We take their world before sunset. But the Krathson didn't know about Julia Martinez and Oscar Chen. Julia sat in the underground facility 3 miles beneath Colorado, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces that would have seemed like magic to anyone from the surface world. As director of Earth's Planetary Defense Initiative, she had spent 15 years preparing for this exact moment. Oscar, what's the status on Project Threshold? She asked without looking up from her screens. Oscar Chen, the facility's chief engineer, pulled up a 3-dimensional schematic that filled the center of the room. All 200 satellites are online and synchronized. The quantum entanglement net is holding stable at 99.97% efficiency. Julia allowed herself a small smile. The world above had no idea what existed down here. Governments had kept it secret for decades, the discovery of zero-point energy extraction, the reverse-engineered alien technology recovered from ancient crash sites, and most importantly, the Threshold Protocol. They're entering lunar orbit, announced Lieutenant Sarah Kim from her tactical station. 3,000 ships, just like the intelligence suggested. Let them come closer, Julia said calmly. Oscar initialized the threshold generators. Oscar's hands moved with practiced precision. Around Earth, invisible to all sensors, a network of satellites hummed to life. They didn't generate shields or weapons. They generated something far more terrifying, a controlled quantum uncertainty field that could rewrite the fundamental constants of physics within a defined boundary. They're hailing us, Sarah reported. Extend the ultimatums, surrender or face annihilation. Ignore it, Julia ordered. How long until they cross the marker? 30 seconds, Oscar replied, his voice steady despite the sweat on his brow. The Kratson Armada advanced with the confidence of conquerors. They had done this dance 1,000 times before. The prey always either surrendered immediately or put up a futile resistance before being crushed. Zolther watched Earth grow larger on his viewscreen. Pathetic, they're not even responding. Prepare main weapons. And then his entire fleet crossed an invisible line 50,000 kilometers from Earth's surface. In the Colorado facility, Oscar's fingers flew across his console. They've crossed the threshold. Activating quantum uncertainty cascade in 3.2.1. The satellite network pulsed once, a ripple of energy invisible to the naked eye but devastating in its implications. Within the boundary of Earth's threshold, the quantum foam of spacetime itself began to fluctuate wildly. What's happening to them? Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. Julia stood, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. They're experiencing probability collapse. Within the threshold field, quantum uncertainty isn't resolved, it's amplified. Every particle in their ships exists in multiple contradictory states simultaneously. Oscar added quietly, from their perspective, they're experiencing all possible timelines at once. Their ships are simultaneously intact and destroyed, here and not here, matter and energy. On the display, the 3,000 Kratson warships began to flicker. Like images on a faulty screen, they phased in and out of existence, their positions uncertain. Their very reality called into question. Zolther's last coherent thought was confusion. His ship's controls responded and didn't respond. He was standing on the bridge and floating in the void. He was alive and dead, victorious and defeated. Time moved forward and backward and stopped entirely. The Kratson Armada didn't explode or get destroyed. It simply ceased to have a definable state of existence. 3,000 ships and 7 million warriors became quantum ghosts, trapped in a superposition of all possible states, unable to collapse into any single reality. The field is stable, Oscar reported. Their quantum signatures are degrading. In approximately 6 hours, they'll fully decohere into background radiation. Julia nodded slowly. She felt no triumph, only a cold certainty. Send the message on all galactic frequencies. Sarah activated the communications array, and Julia's voice was broadcast across light years of space in every known alien language. This is Earth. We do not seek conflict, but we will not tolerate invasion. Your armada crossed our border. It no longer exists in any meaningful sense. This is your only warning. Leave us in peace, or share their fate." She paused, then added, "We didn't destroy them with superior weapons. We simply changed the rules of physics in our space. Consider carefully what that means about humanity's understanding of reality itself before you consider us primitive." Oscar shut down the transmission and looked at Julia. "Do you think they'll listen?" Julia gazed at the tactical display where the ghostly, flickering remnants of the Krathsan Armada continued their quantum death spiral. "They will now." The Krathsan thought strength was measured in firepower. They just learned that true power is understanding the universe at its most fundamental level. "And controlling it," Oscar added quietly. "And controlling it," Julia agreed. 3 months later, the Galactic Council formally recognized Earth's sovereignty and established a 5-light-year exclusion zone around the Sol system. The fate of the Krathsan Armada became legend, a cautionary tale told across 1,000 worlds. The humans, they said, were not to be trifled with. They possessed something more dangerous than weapons, a deep understanding of reality's fabric and the willingness to manipulate it. The Krathsan had learned this lesson too late. Their atoms now scattered across the probability spectrum, neither alive nor dead, existing in all states and none. Julia and Oscar continued their work in the Colorado facility, maintaining Earth's threshold network. They never spoke of the 7 million lives that had dissolved into quantum uncertainty. Some victories carried heavy costs, and the weight of that knowledge was burden enough. But Earth remained free, its borders respected, its people safe, and the galaxy remembered. They crossed Earth's border once. Once was enough.